All right. Day after Vikings aftermath, sifting through the rubble of 1-3. It's frustrating. It's you know. I mean, this loss was a little easier to get over. Like the fucking Cincy and Arizona games just completely fucking killed me for the whole day and then some. Um, Surprisingly, you know, going reading lots of stuff, listening to lots of stuff, reading social media, all that, the usual. After the game and into today, um, surprisingly, the vitriol is not primarily aimed at Kirk Cousins this time, which is I guess a nice change of pace. It's very much at Zimmer. This is very much a situation now in this fan base and media where Zimmer is the target. He's like this fan base is 100% out on Zimmer. Um, like it's never going back to where we love Zimmer. The gruff coach who gave us some good defenses and um, you know took us to an NFC Championship game, got a playoff win in New Orleans. You know that's over. Like the I mean the honeymoon period's long since been over, but like we're into that point now where it's not just like the garden variety people. Oh, Zimmer sucks. We should fire him. It's getting to this level now, and it worries me with what is going to come, or what could come, because we're only 4 weeks into 17 of them. You know, this it's not just like frustration with the coaches. And I'm frustrated. I care more with the Vikings than a lot of these fucking people who rage. I care more than they do. And I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that they're 1-3. I don't think they should be 1-3. You know, I think they're better than 1-3, and it doesn't matter what I think or even if what the reality is. They're 1-3. You don't get this isn't college football where the power rankings are gonna say you're better than a team with a worse record. That's just not how it works. But we're already getting into this mode now where it's starting to really go beyond just frustrated fans or even just venting. Like I'll vent. Like I was venting in my recap video to the game yesterday, but it's going beyond that, and it's getting to a level of just anger and meanness and hostility that's that's really kind of unsettling to me. Just watching it happen, like because then it's also kind of getting turned on anyone who's being sympathetic towards Mike Zimmer. I mean, like I had fucking people digging through like week old posts social media of mine and then coming after me, whether it was about Zimmer or Cousins, but it's like these people need fucking psychological help. Like whatever happens with this season, like if they miss the playoffs, I think it's 90% that Zimmer is gone, and it won't matter what the record is. If you miss you know, very few coaches can ever survive with their job missing the playoffs. What would be 2 straight years and 3 out of 4. Um, and unless they have like maybe a Super Bowl ring, and even then maybe they wouldn't keep their job. But these people who want not just want Zimmer fired, they want him fired now. They want him like hung up outside U.S. Bank Stadium in effigy or something. These people are sick, and they're like rabid dogs right now, and it's really fucking hostile if you're going on social media anywhere and you're even being somewhat complimentary or sympathetic towards Mike Zimmer. And what's really weird to me is that this is the day after his defense held a very, very tough offense to 14 points, 8 points of which were handed by the refs. And ultimately, a head coach is judged on wins and losses. the wins and losses will determine whatever happens with Mike Zimmer. If God forbid they lose to Detroit, I mean, this thing could spin. I wouldn't if they were to lose to Detroit, it's not a 0% possibility that Mike Zimmer is fired right after the game. I do believe that that's true. I don't think there's I like it would be like 5%. It's very, very slim. I don't think they would fire a guy who's been here for 8 years after 5 weeks, even if they lose to Detroit. But it's nothing will satisfy these people. It's just these people. It's similar. Maybe it's Mike Zimmer derangement syndrome. Maybe this is a new thing going on there. I mean, there's always been some degree of that. you know, um, for the record, I think some of the criticisms of Zimmer over the years are a lot more genuine and fact based than criticisms of Cousins. But um, you know, just the hostility in this fan base, it just goes beyond and it's not even just the people who, the tiresome people who, one drive into week one every year want Zimmer fired because, we didn't just win the Super Bowl in week one. It's just, it drives me insane. It's just, it goes beyond a coach or a team. It's just the psychology of some of these people. Like, I don't know why you watch football. I don't know why you follow a team. If this is how you choose to respond to what you see, I just don't understand it. And it's just really weird to me that the vitriol is at an all-time high. I mean, this is absolutely, you can say whether it's the low point of the Zimmer tenure. I think, getting the fucking 50 burger put on him by the Saints last year, that was worse than it. And again, it doesn't fucking matter that I think they're a much better team than their record indicates, that Mike Zimmer thinks they're a better team than their record indicates, that they have, what did I see? They're like the 5th or 6th team in the last 5 or 6 years to be 1-3 and have a plus point differential. None of these things matter. Ultimately, the record is what matters. But again, it's not always just what the record says. There's context to what happened. And I'm sorry, Zimmer got absolutely fucking roasted because he came out. I think it was right after the game yesterday in his post game press conference, and he said that he still thinks this is a good team, and he just got fucking roasted by everybody in the fan base, everybody in the media for daring to say this. First of all, even if he doesn't believe it, why the fuck is he gonna? What's he gonna? Is he gonna come out and rip his own team, rip the players, public? Then he's getting criticized for doing that. And I don't think he was just BS, and I think he believes this is a good team. I believe this is a pretty good team. They're not, record-wise, a very good team right now. But I mean, they're the best 1-3 team, which doesn't fucking get you anything. They're not going to hang a banner because you're the best 1-3 team. But they're better than some of the 2-2 teams. They're probably better than a couple of the 3-1 teams. Ultimately, that doesn't matter for fucking getting in the playoffs. But context fucking matters, and it just bothers me. I mean, this team is better through 4 weeks than they were last year. Did people forget? A couple of those absolute awful games. I mean, it sucks. I wish we weren't 1-3. I wish we were 4-0. I think they should be at least 3-1. I mean, a kick goes through, and we get at least a little bit of fair officiating. You're going to get at least 2 of those other wins. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's not going to matter what I say, what anyone else says. Mike Zimmer will be judged, whether it's mid-season, end of season. He will be judged on the wins and losses. And even if they're 9-8 and clearly better than a team ahead of them in the playoff, and they miss the playoffs, it's not going to matter. That won't matter. Ultimately, it will be judged on that basis. But the hatred, that I'm seeing from people, and just the vitriol towards anyone who's not falling in lockstep, calling for Mike Zimmer to be fucking fired today. Go fuck yourselves, these fucking fake ass fans, and they are fake fans because you don't trust me. You pay attention to these things when you deal with this stuff. These people ain't fucking showing up to say anything good when they win. They're only showing up to bitch and moan when they lose. That tells me they don't fucking care if the team wins. They don't want the team to win. They want the team to lose so that they can yell about it and be mad. And maybe this is the wrong way to go about it, but what? Just show some fucking just appreciation for Mike Zimmer. Like, these people treat Mike Zimmer like he has doomed the franchise and he's ruined us for the rest of time, and he was terrible for 8 years. And this could be the end. This could be his last year. It could be. But I also am really fucking sick of the revisionist history bullshit going on, where it's being spun like he's never been good, like he's never had any success, like he's never had good seasons, like he's never built good defenses, like we've never had any good moments for 8 years, and it's just been this, black hole since 2014. I thought he was on a trajectory. He was going to probably end up as the second best coach in the history of the franchise. I thought he was headed on a trajectory, I thought, where he was going to pass Green. And I don't think that's not likely to happen now unless things turn around pretty quick. But like, he's been a damn good coach. Like, wins and losses, also dealing with I'm not going to go through the fucking list, all the shit that Zimmer's had to deal with. And yes, other coaches deal with stuff. No, other coaches do not deal with stuff, outside stuff, and adversity to the degree that Mike Zimmer has had to since 2014. And whether you believe Cousins is a franchise quarterback or not, even that, he's half his tenure, he didn't have a very good quarterback. He had kind of a mix of up and coming rookie types and veterans, and kind of a hodgepodge of things. But he kept winning, and he got us in the playoffs multiple times. He got us to an NFC Championship game with Case Keenum, and yet that season has been spun into it's been like retconned into being a failure season for Mike Zimmer. And yes, we got fucking mutilated 38-7. I also remember that we were in an NFC Championship game with Case Keenum as our quarterback, and we lost Dalvin Cook. And we got there because of a defense that Zimmer coached up into being, arguably the best in the league until the last game. And that sucks. I mean, what do you want people to say? It's like if you don't fall in lockstep with the Zimmer sucks and he's always sucked crowd, you're getting just hated on and just getting nasty messages on social media and all this shit. It's just fucking nauseating. These people are not fans, and I don't care if people get defensive about, oh, you can't say just because I'm critical, you can't say that I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking say it because you're not a fan, because these people don't have anything to say when we win. They only show up when we lose. And these fucking media people who, and now they're doing this shit where they just misquote Zimmer. There was this fucking thing out there that caused us to saying that Zimmer said that he doesn't care about the run defense, that he doesn't care that they gave up. Like, that's not what he fucking said. Watch the goddamn press conference. He didn't say that he doesn't care about it. He's not pulling out what remaining hairs he has left over it. Like he said, they gave up the fucking 3rd and 20 run, and he's pissed off about it. I hate to go fake news on it, but it's kind of like that. Like they're deliberate. We got and that's when it becomes this thing of, kind of the point of no return is when the media really starts to turn on a coach. Is, you know then they start misquoting, and then they start getting hostile towards him in press conferences, like fucking, you know trying to provoke him into like getting mad or something. Like, this stuff about like just roasting him for saying that the team is not that you know team's not bad. Yeah, he's definitely getting defensive, and I understand he's getting defensive. And he's pissed. He's pissed that this team that is better than their record is not better than their record. Like, he wants their record to be. They should be better than this on wins and losses. They're not. Some of that's on him. Some of it's on other aspects of the team. And I know people say, "Oh, it's Zimmer's team." So, well, okay. I mean, yes, and ultimately the wins and losses fall on him, and they may fall on him to a degree that he gets fired. But I don't think he's wrong when he says that this is a good team. They're a team, like, every playoff team this year is not going to be already a 2-2 or better. Like, there's going to be teams that pop up, teams that fall back. It's just how it goes. Like, I don't think that I didn't go into the season thinking the Vikings were going to be one of the elite teams in the NFC. I picked them to be, I think, the last wild card. Like, I thought they were going to be kind of a team that was going to be fighting for a wild card. And for some people, that's not acceptable, because they think any season that doesn't end in a Super Bowl championship, the fucking coach should be fired. And these people do think that. And even if they pretend they don't think that, that's what they think. Because that seems to be one of the big knocks on Zimmer, is he hasn't won us a Super Bowl. Well, who? It's hard to win a Super Bowl. There's coaches in the Hall of Fame who never won a Super Bowl. There's lots and lots of really good coaches who never even got to a Super Bowl. There are coaches who are not as good as those coaches who did win Super Bowls. It's just, that's not. I hate any time that the bar is win a Super Bowl or you're out, because it's fucking hard to win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I know we haven't won one ever. The odds say maybe we should have, but it's hard to win a Super Bowl. Only one team's going to, whatever your power rankings are with the top 10 teams in the NFL right now, at best one of those teams is winning the Super Bowl, and the other 9 aren't. It's hard to fucking do it. So, like, that's not the bar. That's not the bar for me. I just look at things differently than these people, I guess. Like, I don't look at Mike Zimmer's tenure here and say he's a fucking failure, and then we never should have hired him because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and maybe he will never win a Super Bowl. That's not the bar to me. That's not how I look at it. He's been a very good coach. He's dealt with a lot of shit, and maybe now he's dealing with stuff that he won't be able to overcome. Maybe we're going to miss the playoffs again. It's possible. I still think this is a good team. I still think this team's going to be in the mix into well into December for getting into the playoffs. I don't know if we can. We're 2 games back at the Packers. We got to take care of business in the division if we want to chase down the Packers. It looks impossible right now, but a lot of times it looks impossible. It looked impossible, after 4 games in 2017, and we 2-2, and we lost our quarterback, and we lose Dalvin Cook, and then boom, becomes one of the most memorable seasons in the history of the team. Didn't win a Super Bowl, still a memorable season. These people are so sick that anything short of a Super Bowl, they just look at whatever the last loss was, and that's the only thing that matters in the season. So 1998's looked at as nothing but Gary Anderson missing a kick. I hate this fucking fan base, man. I hate them. I hate this fan base so much. I've grown to just absolutely loathe Vikings fans over the last couple of years. They're just not, like, they deserve, a lot of these fans, they just deserve to have a bad team. Because they have all the answers. They want to, if we just fire Zimmer and we get rid of Cousins, the next guys are going to lead us to 10 Super Bowls. Well, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be way, way worse than what we have now. And that doesn't mean you're just complacent. You just accept, hey, as long as we're like 500 every year, that's great. No, that's not. That's how it gets spun. against people like myself when I come out and I defend a Mike Zimmer or a Kirk Cousins or a Rick Spielman, and they're like, "Oh, you're just content with mediocrity." No, I'm not. I wanted to win a Super Bowl more than you do. I actually give a shit. I'm actually there for wins and losses. I don't just show up after losses to bitch about shit. When we win, I'm there to fucking celebrate. When we lose, I'm there to, you know, wallow in misery or talk about what went wrong and maybe what can be done to fix it, even though I have no fucking say in it. You know, but like I want the Vikings to win more than you do. These fucking people, these absolute, you know, these rabid dogs who just want Mike Zimmer fired because, you know, because they have it in their head that, you know, every year of Vikings football, they people fixate on one or two guys as like, these are the problems, these are the reasons why we can't win a Super Bowl. Before it was, remember, it was Adrian Peterson. It was because we had Adrian Peterson, so we ran the ball, so that's why we couldn't win a Super Bowl. Or it was, you know, or now it's Mike Zimmer or Kirk Cousins, or fucking Dennis Green was the reason we couldn't win a Super Bowl. Like it's one thing after another, and there will be another era soon. You know, I mean, certainly we're closer to the end of the Zimmer era than the beginning. I mean, I don't think he's gonna keep coaching well into his 70s, but I mean, these people want him fucking fired. Like, show some fucking respect to the guy. He's been a damn good coach here, and I think he's still a damn good coach. Like, people get roasted if you say it. I thought he did one of his best coaching jobs last year. Even getting that injury depleted, injury and opt out depleted, and just messed up season, everything. Getting them to 7 wins was a fucking accomplishment. It's not the accomplishment people want, but I mean, you know, and maybe this season is going to go off the rails. I don't know. I think this team is better than last year. I think through 4 games they're markedly better than last year. This defense is way better than last year. I mean, it's like they lost 2 of the games involved, but what do they give? What have they given up? Like something like 40 points in 10 quarters to Arizona, Seattle, Cleveland. Like, I'm sorry, I'll take that. If all that matters is the wins and losses, well, then also all that matters is the fucking points. And this defense has been pretty damn good. Not perfect. They ain't perfect. 3rd and 20 run yesterday. They gave up a couple plays. That's another one that's pissing me off. Is, you know, these people are these fucking rabid dogs are removing all credit from Zimmer for the defensive performance. They say it's all because Baker Mayfield was erratic and he sucked. Well, maybe he was erratic and he sucked because we were actually playing good defense and we were actually getting some good pressure on him and playing good coverage in the secondary for the most part. But I guess that possibility can't enter the realm of thinking. It just fucking irritates me, man. I fucking hate this fan base. I hate them. I'm faced with this reality quite often lately. It's like maybe this fan base just deserves what we don't have. Like, we don't have a Super Bowl title to puff our chest out about. Maybe a lot of this fan base doesn't deserve it. Maybe a lot of this fan base is just a bunch of assholes. And I know there's assholes in every fan base, but I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. I used to think this fan base was a little different. I used to think we were better. I really did. Like, I remember fucking looking at like the Packers and how they treated Brett Favre after he dared to not play out his career in Green Bay, and how they treated him, and I was like, God, what a bunch of pieces of shit, just a bunch of ungrateful assholes. And like, and I'm not, and, obviously Favre was more accomplished with his team than Zimmer has been here, but it's a similar mentality. Like, you're just assholes. You're just bad people and bad faith arguments, and you attack anyone who dares to even like, try to play devil's advocate and say, hey, maybe Mike Zimmer isn't that bad. Maybe he is actually doing a pretty good job, even if it doesn't show up in the wins and losses. It's just like with quarterback wins and losses. losses. Although ultimately, QB wins is bullshit. But I mean, coaching wins. Ultimately, that's how you got to evaluate a coach. And he's 1-3. But it's similar. Like the best coaches don't automatically have the best records every year. Just like the best quarterbacks don't automatically have the best records every year. There's more to it than that. But like I don't have the list of the 2-2 teams in front of me, but like Zimmer's a better coach than some coaches out there who are 2-2 or 3-1. He might even be better than a 4-0. I don't even know who else is 4-0 besides the Cardinals. I don't think anybody. But like, I mean, we're a chip shot field goal in their building from beating Arizona. Like, and maybe a couple of fucking calls yesterday away from beating a what is now a 3-1 Cleveland team, whose only loss was an Arrowhead. Like, I'm sorry, I don't look at this. It sucks that they're 1-3. I don't look at it like, what a disaster. Like I've I just don't see it like that that way, and I'm just not going to. I just don't. I don't follow football to be mad and to call for people to be fired and released all the time. If I think they deserve to be fired or deserve to be released, I'll say it. But I'm not going to say that about Zimmer. I mean, if the season goes off the rails, I don't know what the criteria is where I would agree that Mike Zimmer should be fired this year. If they end up fucking winning 5-6 games, yeah, maybe. I need to see how it plays out, but like ultimately, it ain't up to me. It ain't up to any of these rabid dogs. If the Vikings miss the playoffs this year for really any reason, I think Zimmer is most likely gone, because I think at that point, it'd be 3 out of 4 years out of the playoffs, 2 years in a row, a lot of highly paid players, like, and I think there's something to the idea that like once a coach has been around for a while, it's kind of like, not that players don't listen or don't care, because I certainly don't think they've stopped playing for Zimmer by any stretch of the imagination. Like they played fucking hard. That defense out there playing hard. Even last year when they're guys off the street, they're playing hard. Like they don't. This isn't one of these things where like you can tell, a team quits on a coach. They've never quit on Zimmer. And I don't think they ever will. But I know it's a professional sport. Playing hard is to be expected. No one's gonna fucking pat you on the back for that. I'm just saying that, that's one of the criteria. Is like if it seemed like they quit on him, or if there are games coming up, later in the season where it seems like they quit, then it's like, okay, maybe you can have the discussion that that Zimmer's got to go. I think, like I said, I think if they miss the playoffs, Zimmer's gone. I'm not saying I would agree with it. There could be a scenario where I agree with it, but the people who just, some of the names that get thrown out there is like, oh, we got to fire Zimmer and hire this guy. You have no fucking clue whatsoever if the next coach is going to be, a great coach or a complete flop. You have no fucking idea. I keep, you see the name Eric Bieniemy thrown out there. You have no fucking idea if he's going to be a good head coach or not. Absolutely none. He could be great. He could be fucking terrible. Like, you don't know. Like, it's the whole grass ain't always greener thing. And that doesn't mean you're just, you never change coaches or quarterbacks or players because, well, the next guy could be worse, but he could also be better. Sure, he could be better. Change for change's sake is not something that I believe in. And, that's, the arguments against Zimmer are just very lame to me. they just don't hold water to me. Like, it's very much just fire him because I don't like him. Fire him because he's been here a long time. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. Fire him because, they're 1-3. Like, And yes, there's been things over the years that Zimmer has done that have been wrong, and he's made mistakes, and he's been outcoached in big games at times. Like, okay, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. I understand that. I'm well aware that we don't have a Super Bowl title with Mike Zimmer. But again, just I wish we could at least let the fucking season play out, man. And of course, is that gonna, it ain't gonna mean a lick of difference if we beat Detroit, because everyone will just say it was Detroit. It won't matter if we beat Carolina, because then they'll just say, well, it's just Carolina. We just beat another mediocre team. Like, he can't win. He can't win. It's just nothing will satisfy these people except for firing Mike Zimmer, and you know exactly what these people will do with the next coach. It'll be 2 weeks into his first season. If we go 0-2, same thing if we have some rookie quarterback. If we just clean house, we have a new GM, coach, quarterback, and we start 0-2 the next year, these same fucking people are going to be calling for everybody to be fired, and they will, because this is the only thing they do as alleged football fans, is call for people to be fired and released, because they don't know anything else. They don't enjoy football. They just exist to yell and complain and attack people who try to have a reasonable take on situations like this, like myself. Um, it won't be any different. These people may even if these people think it's going to be different with another coach, quarterback, GM, owner, whatever. It's not. They'll be the same asshole fans that they were before, calling for everybody to be fired at the drop of a hat all the time, because they can't understand football. They can't understand context of things. All they know is being mad and probably drunk too. Um, there's just a line. There's a line between being frustrated and just being an asshole, and this fan base crosses that line way too much for my liking at this point.